We'll be live soon.
All right, now we're live. All right. It says you will not be live to the attendees until the appropriate time.
Is that what it said?
That's what it said. So, okay. Well, broadcast started. We'll wait for the appropriate time.
I'm going to wait till after we introduce ourselves to start the PowerPoint.
Okay, that's fine.
And I'll just do a brief opening prayer. I don't have a long one. I feel like I need to move my Mary from that side to this side. She's looking.
Yeah.
I had her there for the
Oh, here we
video
are.
project.
Welcome. How's everybody doing today?
We're
Think about being virtual. You have a hard time knowing if everybody's here.
If you are here, go ahead and let us know by maybe dropping in the chat box. What is it you do at your school or your parish or your ministry? Get to know you a little bit as we start our session this afternoon. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine. Modern day in New Jersey.
You're another Jersey woman like Ruth.
Originally. It's funny because I was telling my mom last night, she's like, well, where are the people from? And I'm like, there were people in my presentation from modern day. She goes, I know where that is. It was so funny. Oh, Seton Hall. Okay. We're in Florida, and I moved here from South Jersey.
Oh, that is funny. That's right. We're both in Florida.
We are.
I mean, I knew that, but I forgot about that until you just said that.
Oh, Belmar.
Is there anyone not from New Jersey here?
No, there's no Pierce, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, okay.
Good afternoon, Gary, Milwaukee.
I'm not from New Jersey.
See, it's not just New Jersey.
Jersey. I'd be overrun. It'd be bad.
True.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and get started? And as people
go ahead and get started. All right. Good afternoon. I'm going to be your moderator, and I'm Ruth Manlandro, and I am with Eduscape and Digital Discipleship. And this is Deanna Bartolini. She will be your presenter today. And I'm going to be your moderator. So if you have any questions or if there's anything you need to cover, put it in the chat box, and I will be covering from the chat box. All right, Deanna.
So I'm Deanna Bartolini. I am a writer, a speaker, and a retreat leader. And I have been working with Digital Discipleship Network since 2014, and I am super excited to be here to present to you today. We're going to just start with a brief opening prayer, and then we're going to get right into content. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, we thank you for this time to gather from all places together to learn how best to evangelize and serve the people put in our path. We ask you for the intercession of Saint Isidore of Seville, who is the patron saint of technology, and also Blessed Carlo Acuti, who was just recently beatified. We ask you to be with us, send your Holy Spirit to guide us, and I'll have no technology fail. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, so Ruth is going to woman the chat box, and I am going to share my screen, and we're going to get started on the PowerPoint. One thing I will say, if you do have questions, and I love questions, not a problem, put them in the question and answer tab rather than in the chat box so that they don't get lost. All right, so we are going to get started. I'm going to be sharing the PowerPoint, which I'm going to do right now. And we're going to be going back and forth between the slides, and then we're actually going to be going out onto the World Wide Web, onto the internet, so this should be fun. So our presentation today is using digital tools for evangelization and catechesis. So how are we going to reach the masses? Really, what we're going to talk about today is our three main things. We're going to be talking about creating, curating, and collaborating. A lot of alliteration there. I didn't actually do it on purpose. That's just the words we use, right? So we're going to look at some collaboration tools. We're actually going to then go out and go on Canva and see what that is all about. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Pinterest. We can use that for both curating and collaborating. So let's talk first about the digital world. You know, the digital world is this great big space, right? It's vast, it's huge, it's beyond borders, right? What this digital world does is it allows us to share our faith and information with other people. It really does allow us to evangelize and to spread the good news everywhere, to all the corners of the world. And so how are we going to do that? You know, we have to have a plan. We have to have the tools and the means to do this. And so a couple of the things, and I'm sure you know these, and if you have other ideas, drop them in the chat, and when we go back and forth, we'll look at those as well. Websites. Websites are great. Maybe people don't think about their website too much, but your website is your face that you show the world, whether it's your parish, your diocese, your own personal website. Your page, it's the face you show the world. And then of course there's those other great big ones, right, that are curated and have tons of other things on them you can use to teach. YouTube, there's so many social media sites. I mean, obviously we know the big ones: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now of course there's TikTok and Parler, and Clubhouse is a new one, and Snapchat, and on and on and on. All of those different social media sites. And they have positives and negatives to all of them. Collaboration tools, we're going to talk a little bit about in more detail, but really, how can we work with each other? Because it's not about all of us knowing everything, but rather working with each other on our teams. Sometimes it's the people we work with in the same place, but you know, this conference is a great example. I'm presenting today with Ruth, who's, you know, about 5 hours north of me in Florida. But yesterday I was presenting with Andrea, who is in Buffalo, New York, very, very far from where I live. So we were still able to collaborate. And graphic design tools, because while our message is important, looking good, the message looking good is also important. And then you can create games, curating sites, all of these ways share our faith and information with other people. Let's talk first, and this is probably going to be the briefest section of the workshop this afternoon: collaboration. These are just a few. And when I chose the tools, all of the tools, for the most part, they are free. Because let's face it, we are all on budgets. whether you work in a diocese, a school, a parish, everyone is watching the bottom line. And so tools, the first level, entry level into using some of these tools is free. And then you see if you like them and if they work for you, and then you can go from there. The one that I really like is called Slack. And Slack basically is a huge bulletin board, if you would, with different channels where you can, pick a channel. So let's say you work at a school and you're the head of the math department. And so you could make a channel, sixth grade math teachers, or fourth grade catechists in religious ed, whatever it is. And so everyone on that channel has to do with that particular tool, and not tool, but that particular grade level, or needs that set of information, right? And then it's like an email, except that rather than having going back and forth between email and who replied, who didn't reply, and all of that crazy stuff, it just is a thread. So you can see at a glance what people need help with. And that's a great way just to pass along information. You can drop links in it. You can put videos in it. You can put text in it. You can put files in it. It's a great tool. And so I highly suggest that you recommend, that you check that out. Evernote's been around for quite a while. Use it for personal use, and you can also invite people to share your folders, and then you can also collaborate in those ways. Trello. Trello is a great one to use if you are planning an event or getting ready to start up a year, right? I will just use this example. I'm planning a second grade retreat, right, for First Reconciliation. And everybody has a different part. And so on this board, on your Trello board, you would make a folder, second grade reconciliation retreat. And then you would have a Post-it note. It looks like a Post-it note. I mean, it's not, but it looks like a Post-it note. And that would be the music. And then what needs to be done for music, and what needs to be done for a snack. We always have to have snack, right? What needs to be done for the parents. And you just keep track of it. And you can share the board with the other people on your team. People can add to it. They can see what the deadlines are, and everything can move forward. Next one I'm going to hit is Ricky, or Reiki. I have not used that tool, but it looked very interesting. And again, the basic introduction level was free. So, take a look. It was, again, a bulletin board-ish type of a tool. And then the two other big ones, all right, Google. I probably don't need to talk to you about Google. You're probably quite familiar with Google. But Google is good because, first of all, it has a great teacher program. Also free up to a certain amount of memory, of storage space that you have on there. But it's so easy to share and collaborate. And so that you're not going back and forth, and trying to keep track of what edit am I on this document, and where are we on this form. Just makes it a lot easier because everybody can see the whole thing. And also you can say, okay, I don't want everybody to see all of it. The leaders can do editing, and then the parents can just respond to the form. So those are different things that you can do with Google. It would take hours to explain all of that, so we're just going to leave it at that. And then OneNote. OneNote was a Microsoft tool, and it's available as part of your Microsoft 365. No, this is not a commercial for Microsoft or Google, and OneNote is also available online that way. I do have a handout that I'll drop in at the end, and those have live links to all of these. So those are some collaboration tools, some ways to look at working together with the other people on your team when you need to do projects together. And I'm going to talk about Canva. I love Canva. I'm a little bit of a groupie. No, this is, again, not being paid to rep Canva. Good news about Canva is that it is free for nonprofits and educators K through 12. You need to fill out a little form and give them some information. I do some media work in a pregnancy care center, and it is a nonprofit. And so I was able to get a free account for that group. I'm not going to show you that free account because it's not exactly what would be helpful for you to look at in terms of what I create on there. But go ahead and look into looking at getting Canva at the free account for yourself. And when we go onto the site, I'm going to tell you why. That's a great thing to do. So Canva, you can create
Deanna,
everything. Yes, Ruth.
Just stop you 1 second. We do have a comment in the chat box. Jerry
Yes.
says that she's used Reiki for project management for 1,200 plus courses and staff developing them and what phase of course development they're on. And she says it's great for keeping the group and projects organized.
Wow, that's great to know. Thank you. Thanks. So everybody, there you go. You have a little bit of a recommendation from someone who knows more about that than I do. So thank you. So Canva. Canva is always adding new things that you can create. There's a short list there. When we get onto the site, you'll see I really didn't do it justice. You can create PowerPoints, newsletters for print or electronic logos. You can make videos. You can make flyers. Again, print flyers or electronic flyers, and social media graphics. It's important that we use good graphics when we're going to show these out into the world, right? When we're trying to get people's attention. If you have a pro account, you can resize automatically. So that means, let's say you create something in Twitter sized, and now you realize, oh wait, I really needed that for Facebook. One little click and it becomes Facebook. Sometimes you have to adjust it slightly, but you don't have to do much else. So that's great. It also has a feature where if you have a specific size that you're looking for, like if you're going to print out something, you can set up your own sizes in the and you're going to make your new products items. And so, like I said, you can have digital and print products. So let's talk a little bit about what makes a good graphic image. So color, font, image, and background. You'll see all of those are displayed here. So I picked a background. Background was a little chalkboard. Figured a whiteboard wouldn't give us much to look at, right? And then color. What are you trying to convey? What tone? Trying to convince people of something? Are you inviting them to something? What are you trying to do? Your font, what kind of letters, the shape, the sizes, all of that matters. And then what kind of an image are you going to use? All of those combine to convey your message. So it's the same way that when you get dressed to go to work, right? You're literally in people's presence, not now virtually, it's a little bit different, but you convey something with the way you're dressed, whether you're clean, whether your hair is combed, if you're a man, whether your beard is trimmed or you're clean shaven, all of those presents a message. And so it's the same way with a good graphic image. I'm going to show you an image and we're going to talk. So if you look at this image, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and Ruth, tell me what you think. Thumbs up or thumbs down in the chat box with this image. So what is it? Are we getting thumbs up or thumbs down?
I haven't gotten anything yet. I'm waiting.
Oh.
I mean, I know what I give it, but I do graphic
Go ahead.
design.
What would you give it?
I'm giving it a thumbs down, but I do graphic design.
All right. Well, Canva makes everyone look like they do graphic design. All right. So this is a thumbs down. It's a thumbs down because you can't read half the words.
Yep. Yes, Jerry,
They're
it's
over
definitely
the
a thumbs
face.
down.
All right. It's terrible. And the truth is that oftentimes we see this online as something people want you to look at and read. Okay. What about this
Exactly.
one?
It is hard to read the font. And Tim Welsh says thumbs down.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad we agreed on what's not good. All right. What about this one here? same image, similar, thumbs up or thumbs down, or neutral. Can you do a thumbs sideways? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no thumbs sideways. Gary says thumbs down.
I'm going to give it a thumbs down as well.
I was too.
All right. Now, here's the
Jerry
last
said that
one.
one was better.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you something. My husband is my proofreader, and he looked at this and he says, "That's really the best one." I said, "Yes, I like that one the best." He says, "I don't like the color purple." So here's the thing.
Yeah,
The
thumbs up
point
for this
is,
one.
right? I could have used navy because the teacher's wearing a navy jacket. But the idea is that you want it to pop. You want the text to pop. You don't want it over the person's face. You don't want it over the flowers. You want to be able to see it. And so putting that color behind the text makes it pop. And I'm going to show you how to do that when we get onto Canva. This is another image that I did on Canva. So the one on the left where it says Cordell High School, that was the original image in Canva. Okay. Obviously, so what did I do? I changed it up for St. Mary High School. We're having virtual parent-teacher conferences, meet the teachers. I changed the image here, right? Changed the text, changed the text in here. So I used their sample as a springboard into something that was better for me, including changing the little logo. FYI, all of that is fake, okay? Just made it up. Here's another one, all right? I liked this on the left, like this image.
Deanna, good question on the last one.
Yes, let me go
Can
back.
colorblind people read those two graphics?
I would say yes, because of the contrast, the high contrast between the text and the background. I would say yes, which brings up another good reason why you want to make sure you have contrast, not just shades. So this one, a little bit different. You don't snowboard in South Florida. I took a quote from Catherine of Siena, one of my favorite saints, and I put a different image of a boat, but I used the same idea, right? That shadow behind it, the blue behind it, and then the boat, and then the quote. All right. So, what is the point of that? To show you that sometimes people think, "Oh my gosh, I don't have ideas." Well, you don't have to necessarily have ideas on how it should look. You do need to know what you want to say, but they give you a lot of ideas. And so that will be a big help to you. All right. So now what we're going to do, all right, hopefully now you're seeing me. Are you all seeing me? There I am.
Yes,
All right.
you're good.
We are going to go to Canva now. All right. And I'm going to show you how to do it in Canva. Thanks, Nicholas. Catherine of Siena is my favorite. Definitely my favorite. All right, here we go. We're going to see if this works. Wish me luck. All right. Do you all see, hopefully, Canva?
We do.
Okay, excellent. So this is the home page. All right. It's my home page. This is my little N for my email. And it shows recent designs. And it shows up here across the top everything that you can make. I'm not going to show you everything in Canva today. I don't have that much time. And I don't think you would want to pay that much attention. Let's pretend we're going to make an Instagram post, okay? So I was over here, clicked on Instagram post, and then I get over to Instagram post. So what you should see is a white square-ish item in the middle of the screen, right?
Not yet.
Is that what you see?
Not yet.
Oh, What do you see?
And we still see your homepage. Still see your homepage.
All right. I think what I need to do then is I need to go out and come back. All right, there we go. See it now?
Now we see it.
All right, so over here, all the way on the left of your screen, I'm going to go through these templates. All right, so here are different templates that you can use that are this size. I also have this really great feature called uploads. So let's say you have an image you know you want to use. Maybe you want to use an image of your church. You want to use an image of your favorite crucifix of the beach. These are my beach pictures. So you can very easily upload images from your device, from Facebook, from Google, from Instagram, from Dropbox. So you can upload your images, and then they're all saved there. Ever, tons of images that are saved. So that's if you have something you know you already want to use. Then let's say you don't have an image you want to use. So you want to choose a photo. You put something in the search bar. Okay. Let's put in Florida. No idea why I just put that in. All right. So you see here, those palm trees, sunset, and it says free. Okay. Free means, of course, that you don't have to pay for it. Then over here, there's this little crown. If you have a free account with them, those would also be free for you. Okay. So you can look up virtually anything in here. The next section is elements. Again, tons of different options and possibilities. One of the most important things in here, though, when you begin, are the shapes. The shapes are what you put behind your text to make the text pop. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So then text. Okay. Either add your headings, subheadings, or you can scroll down and there are different things that you could use, right? So, if you're having a pizza party, love, peace, and joy, this probably goes on a card. All of these are also different options. And of course, they can be your springboard into whatever it is you want to create as well. And add audio, videos, have a background, and then folders, which is where if you want to put things in different places, create folders and do that. All right, let's start with, we're going to do this. How are we doing? We're doing okay on time, I think. All right.
You're still pretty good.
Okay. I'm going to take a template and I'm going to do a quote. I have a quote from St. Clair that I like. So I love sunflowers. All right. Sorry, guys, if this gets a little girly. I'll try not to be too girly. And this is my quote. Live and hope in the Lord. All right. Now, I don't know. That font looks very what? Kind of bold, right? Nothing wrong with that. But I don't know that we need that bold of a font with this quote. So a couple of things that we can do. First of all, it's kind of big, so we could a little smaller if we wanted to. Then before that, we go over here and we can look at their fonts. And they have all sorts of fonts. Be careful what you choose, what you want to convey, right? We talked about that. You can try a script. The problem with script, though, sometimes is that it's really hard to read. I tend to go with simple fonts that are not real scrolly and scripty. And if I want, sometimes I might put them in italics. Not all fonts go in italics, though. So that's something, to think about. We're going to just keep it with this font for now, just because I don't want to be monkeying around with it afternoon. Effects. You can hollow out the text and have like a shadow behind it, or you can just have it regular. We're just going to leave it regular now. Okay. You can space the letters apart. Did you see that? Yeah, and we don't really need to do that in this one. You can also make them be spaced further apart vertically. So vertically or horizontally, they can be spaced far apart. You can change the color. They could be yellow. But if you make them yellow, what happens? They kind of disappear a bit. Well, we're going to keep them yellow. They are for now, and I'll show you why. We're going to keep them yellow. I'm going to move that a little bit. And I'm going to go back here to elements. And I'm going to go here to the shapes. I'm going to grab there. Well, look, everything's yellow. Well, that's certainly not very helpful at all. I'm going to go with a light gray. And then I'm going to go back here where it says, up here where it says position, and I'm going to send the gray square back. And look at that. What happens? What happens is now you can see the text. I'm looking at it though, and I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm not crazy yet about the gray, right? So what are my options? Well, I could move the text a little bit, and let's try this. There's something here making it transparent, less or more transparent. Maybe if I make it more transparent, it'll work better. Still not working, is it? I mean, I don't think that's easy to read. But let's go back. Might be easier to read. Well, if you have a pro account, you can actually figure out to get one of those browns, which would probably be easier to read. I can't do that with this account, so I'm just going to leave it black. Okay, I'm going to leave it black. And look at that. You changed it up a bit. All right. And we should always make sure we credit the people who said these things, that they don't think it was me or you. St. Clair Casey. All right. Now, and also, we talked about changing the font, move the text behind, the box behind the text, the flower. All right. Question. This was just a quick overview. Right? Very quick overview. Then you can download it. So you can download it as a PNG, as a JPEG. You want to print it out, it could be standard or print. Anything that you want to do, you can do that. All right. That's something else that you can do. When you have the professional one, you can do a little bit more, and it's a lot of fun. The other thing you can do, if you connect your Canva to, let's say, Facebook or Twitter, then you can actually push it out there right away. I don't have mine connected because I tend to make the images and then put them up in a different way. That's something else that you can do. All right, so I am going to come back to you. Stop sharing my screen. All right, and now we are going to go back to the PowerPoint. Again, questions, just drop them in the chat box and Ruth will interrupt me.
Sorry, no questions yet.
Okay, all right. So we're going to look again. All right, now we're going to talk about curating and collaborating. So curating is a fancy word for collecting, right? We curate, we make a site where people can go to find all the things. And on Pinterest, ladies and gentlemen, you can find all the things. But what's good about Pinterest? Well, first of all, it's a visual search engine. It's not really meant for social media. Yes, you can be social on it, but that's not really its primary purpose. Its primary purpose is as a visual search engine. The other good thing about Pinterest is it's fun. It's not polarizing. If you don't like that pin, just move on to the next one. If you don't like what your front page looks like, just click on, home page and you get a new home page. So you don't have to get wrapped up in just the stuff that sometimes makes social media not fun. So there are two different types of accounts for Pinterest. You can have a personal account or you can have a business account. Boards. Boards can be public, they can be group boards, or they can be secret. And so that's good to know. And I'm going to show you why that's good to have those. Group, you can have one owner of the group. Well, every board has an owner. And then there are collaborators, so people you invite to join your board. And you can follow people or you can follow boards. And when we get on the site, I'll show you that in a minute. All right. Let's talk first about how we can use Pinterest. So Pinterest is great for inspiration. You can find crafts on there. You can find lesson plans, games, handouts. You really can find just about anything. Collaborate. If you set up your boards, again, people who are working on projects can put their ideas all on there. Everyone can see them. You can exchange lesson plans and ideas. You can build projects together. You can be a contributor to a board. You can have a pinning party. So even though we're all virtual right now, let's say you just say to all of the people on your team, whether it's all your catechists, a group of people who you work with to do social media in your parish, whatever it is that you're doing in your work. So, okay, everybody at 7 o'clock on Thursday night, grab a snack and beverage of your choice. Let's all get on Pinterest and we're going to pin as much as we can to the board for our upcoming, project for how to make the end of the year interesting when we cannot have a party. Whatever your topic, okay? You have tons of things that you need to work on. I'm sure you have no lack of things that need ideas. What kind of boards can you create? You could create a board for books. Then when parents say to you, well, what's a good book for, First Reconciliation? What's a good book for confirmation? Oh, go to the Pinterest board. We have tons of books. You could have boards by classes or grade level. You could have boards for sacraments. You could have quote boards, right? Somebody said they liked the Catherine of Siena board. Quote, just dump all the quotes that you like into a board, and when you need them, they'll be there. Evangelization, share your boards and your links with parents, with ministry groups, with parishioners, right? All of those are ways to use Pinterest in a way that is super non-threatening and fun, okay? Now, I'm going to go on to Pinterest. I'm going to show you this.
Tim said that he didn't have a question, but thank you for the walkthrough.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. I love to do this. So, all right, here's my Pinterest board. So here's my name. Here are all my boards. And I'm going to just show you now the digital discipleship. This is a board that I share with Ruth. And first of all, if you want to have a certain cover for your board, you can do that. The board always has to have a name. Put a description in there. Collaborators. Let's look at collaborators. All right, let's say, what do you want your collaborators to be able to do? They can do almost everything. So they can add, remove, delete pins, sections, comments, react. They can only save pins and comment. Do you want them to be able to invite other people? Do you want people to ask permission to join the board? So you set that however you want to set it, which I think is important to note, right? And then you save it. Now, let's say I want to add more people. So I'm going to invite collaborators. All right. I'm just going to invite my friend Mari. She already knows that I'm a little out there, so she'll wonder why I invited her to this board, but I did. And look there, invite sent. Okay. You can copy the link and put it in an email and invite collaborators that way. Now, one of the things that people don't always know about Pinterest is, yes, you can use Pinterest as the way to find your pins. However, you can also add them from other websites. So you go into this little plus sign over here, and let's say you want to create a pin. Well, you can either drag and drop, or if it's a website, you would click on there, just copy the website address from the URL from the address bar and click it right into there, and then you would have another pin. I'm not going to do that because if I do that, you're not going to see it because of the way the system is, but I think that gives you an idea. So you can create your own pin, and then you would decide where it's going to go, what board you're going to put it on, right over here. So, and over here are the lists of all of my boards. In looking at this, here's my home page. You can tell what I've been looking at. I've been looking at Easter crafts for grandchildren, dresses for grandchildren, and wreaths, okay? Now, let's say you look at me, Gianna Bartolini, and you think, well, this is interesting, but I'm not going to Italy, and I don't know about this baby avocado stuff, and I don't like essential oils, but that's okay. But I really, really want to just follow digital disciples because that's important to me, knowing how to be a good digital disciple. I want to follow that board. So you can just follow that board, okay? You don't need to follow the person. You can just follow their board. And that, I think, is helpful because then you get to see, and when they pin, what happens is when people pin, you get an inbox if people send you things and you see their pins, and updates, right, of who did what, and things so that you can see all of that there. There's your home page again, right? That's what I said. You don't like what it looks like, just click on it again and you get a new one. Yes, it's visually, it's very stimulating. If you're not a visual person, you might not like this, but I think it really can be useful in terms of very non-threatening way to evangelize and help people be possible, right? So I have this board here is called Faith. What do I pin on there? I pin podcasts that I like. Not Lukewarm Podcast is actually mine, but I pin podcasts. I pin books that I like, pictures, things that I might want to share with other people, all of those things. When I was working in a parish, no, here, I did not get rid of it. So if you look at this board, work, you're probably, you look at it and think, my goodness, there's all sorts of very weird things on this board. It was very eclectic because anything that had to do with my job, I would just put it in here. And then this other woman who I worked with, who didn't want to be my collaborator, but she wanted to see everything, so she knew what was going on, she would just be able to go on that board and look at it. So Pinterest is good for all of those kinds of things. Bring my screen there, unless somebody has a question specifically about that. We are
Not seeing any questions.
We are pretty much, we're almost at the end of time. End of the session, of total end of time. I am going to drop in here. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Do you have anything you want to ask me? Right. What I dropped into the chat box right now is the PDF for you, and it has all the tools I mentioned, all the websites I mentioned, the graphics, and how to get in touch with me if you're interested, where you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, so forth. And again, if there's any questions that you think of later on, please just shoot me an email, not a problem. And really just consider how you can use these tools to reach out out, right? And also work together with the people that you work with. These tools make it so much easier because we're not always in close proximity anymore due to this pandemic. But I think in general, it's always helpful because sometimes it is hard to get together. Tim has a question. What is a good app for editing? Okay, editing video. Yeah, Adobe Rush. Actually, I put the Adobe stuff on there. Adobe also for educators. I'm not sure if they give you a free account, but they give you a good, at least a discount, right, Ruth?
Adobe Rush will gives you free if the video is under a certain length. Premiere Elements is good too. That has more bells and whistles than Adobe Rush. Adobe Rush is actually pretty easy, and the other thing with Adobe Rush is it also is on your tablet or your phone too.
Yeah, I haven't done much video editing. My jobs have changed through the years, and so that's less of something that I do. But I know Ruth does a lot of that, so those are good suggestions too. You're very welcome, Nicholas. I was happy to be able to be here and talk with you all. So, anything else? All right, well, I hope I will get to see something that you create in Canva or maybe on Pinterest. Tim has Zoom video to edit. Yeah, I was having a little discussion with Zoom myself the other day with editing.
You may want to use Rush. And the thing is with Rush, Tim, it's also on Mac because I actually have both machines. And so you can use Adobe Rush on both. And you can it's got a share button, so you can share it with your people on Mac. And then that way you can share the file back and forth with no problem.
Okay. All right, thank you all. And hopefully we'll see you again somewhere, somehow. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a great night. All right, I'm gonna